DeSanto Propane is 4 generations strong as a trustworthy, family-owned business with unmatched customer service. Go online at DeSantoPropane.com for more info or call toll-free at 1-800-752-4574 today. Since 1937, the difference has been DeSanto Propane.
Inside to Stevenson, up against Kaminsky, Bucky good in the foul!
Santel all the way to the basket, foul, lays it in for
2! Hey, high school basketball fans, welcome to the Upstate Hoops Podcast here on Monday, January 12th, 2026. I'm Jim Sinacropi. Alongside Paul Russo, live in the FingerLakes1.com studios in Seneca Falls, New York. We'll be joined remotely by Kyle Evans. Got a great show today. Primarily going to talk about that Lyons Honeoye game. Look at some of the boys' classifications in Section 5 for sectionals. And, of course, our new power rankings, the week ahead, the week that was. So, good show here on tap on a Monday inside the FingerLakes1.com studios. The Upstate Hoops Podcast and all of our coverage of Wayne Finger Lakes High School basketball is brought to you thanks to the support of Little John and Barbie Orthodontics. Check out Dr. Rod and Dr. Liz online at littlejohnortho.com. Always strong supporters of local high school athletes. And Cicino's Pizzeria and Restaurant. Order online at Cicinos.com. And DeSanto Propane. Since 1937, the difference has been DeSanto Propane. So, Paul, we got our headphones on.
Yes.
Kyle's not here in the studio with us. We'll check in with him in a second. But you and Kyle called that great Lyons Honeoye game at FLCC. It was delayed a week for weather concerns last Friday. Finally took place on Saturday, and it didn't disappoint.
No, it did not. Yeah, it was great. I think it lived up to everything we hoped it would. It maybe wasn't the exact path I think we thought necessarily, but what a win for Lyons. We obviously had hoped that week prior we were going to have really great I was leaving it holiday hoops because of the new year and everything, and didn't quite end up that way, but great win for Lyons. And for Honeoye, I thought they played really well. All 5 of their starters played all 32 minutes. Yeah. Kind of caught me really off guard, and I think that was a little bit of that determining factor. Admittedly, they looked a little bit tired there, especially at the end, and a little bit too little, too late on that end. But Landon Washburn played really well, 27 for him, dumped it on in, and Dylan Washburn and Bryn Schneider did really well as well. And then on the Lions side, it was the Contrell Parker performance. It was really great kind of seeing him have a really good game. Stepped up when the Lions really needed him, frankly. Honeoye did a really good job of keeping J.J. Johnson in check down low in the post, and Contrell really did a great job running point. Great job on defense. The Lebrechts did really well as well. Just a really all-around great performance by Lyons to get that win.
For me, I thought at the end of that Geneva game that Lyons was a little rushed. They didn't handle the end game stuff very well. And sign of a good team and a good coach is they came back and in their next big game against Honeoye, they really did handle the end of game situation with more confidence, a little more under control, close that game out. I really think it was the difference. They did have a small lead heading down the stretch against Honeoye, whereas they were coming back against Geneva. But just the last 2 minutes of each game, I just thought Lyons was more in control. And you could tell that was probably something that Coach Young worked on with his guys. So nice win for Lyons. Perhaps a potential rematch between these two teams coming in the postseason for the Class C state play-in game. Our state tournament playing game to get to the Far West Regional. That's a potential. But Kyle, you were there courtside sitting with Paul. What were your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I think you guys nailed the biggest points there. I do agree, though, that I think Honeoye was just a little bit tired there in the second half. I mean, Landon Washburn had 18 of his 27 in that first half. And then in the second half, he just couldn't get a lot of things going. And it just seemed like they were trying to force him the ball at times. And a lot of sloppy passes overall from the entire team led to, fast break points the other way for the Lions. And the Lions just did a really good job, I think, of wearing them down and, just trying to take away Landon Washburn, and they did just that, and it was a big win.
Yeah, a big win for Lions. It would have been tough losing to Geneva and Honeoye over this little kind of holiday stretch that we've been anticipating. But they did get the win against Honeoye. It's tough to take too much away from Honeoye, other than when they get deep into sectionals, they'll be facing tough games. Not willing to go more than 5 deep at FLCC on Saturday. That could have been a determining factor. But Washburn, everything that's advertised, some really good adjustments at halftime for Coach Young and the Lions, too, in dealing with Landon Washburn. So it was a great high school basketball game, great atmosphere at FLCC, and great broadcast by you guys on FL1 Sports.
Yeah, appreciate it. Credit to both the Honeoye and Lions crowd. I mean, it was essentially standing room only. And I know we might wax hyperbole a little bit when we say that broadcasting wise, right? But frankly, the past 2 games we've done, right? Geneva and Lyons Honeoye have been standing room only games. And it just a really great atmosphere. A lot of different people from different towns even at the game on Saturday.
High school basketball fans that recognize that these are great matchups and get to see them in person at good venues. Yeah, it was great stuff for early January for sure.
Yeah.
It had that postseason type of feel. So we do got a lot to get to today. Let's first just take a look at the week that was in boys and girls basketball, starting with the boys. You see there, Honeoye opened up the week with a nice win at Bloomfield kind of to set them up, and then Lions no problem with their arch rival Clyde Savannah. The Newark-Geneva game, though, is the one we probably want to talk about, and Geneva, after defeating Lions at home, hosted Newark, who's another top 5 team in our power rankings, and had a somewhat comfortable victory.
Yeah, I know that was a game that we kind of also had circled a little bit last week to kind of see what would happen. And, for Geneva, another good league victory, right? I mean, this is a Newark team that overall this year has played pretty well, maybe a hair better than we all maybe anticipate a little bit. But, I mean, the Panther march continues on here at the moment. So another feather in the hat win for Coach Collins' Panthers.
And you look at the Finger Lakes East, and obviously Geneva and Newark will play again. But who's, going to hand Geneva a loss at this point? I mean, it doesn't look like Minders or Waterloo, although, teams do get better as the season goes on. Maybe Wayne. I
was going to say, I think Wayne would probably in that rematch have to be the quote unquote favorite to do that. Maybe Newark again on that whip around. Who knows? So, but yeah, at the moment, it helps. If you're the Panthers, right, it helps you have that game in hand in terms of the league title already and everything like that. So, I don't know. Remains to be seen, but it's tough to imagine them not being on top of the East when it's all said and done at this point.
Yeah, let's take a look at that schedule again, our results, I should say. What are the games that stand out for you, Kyle, from last week? Palmac beating Minders pretty good at home too. Is kind of like this Minders program is really struggling.
Well, you might look up at that Tuesday game between Mid-Lakes and Wayne and think, wow, that was lopsided. But here's the stunning part. At halftime, Mid-Lakes led this game 27-25, but Wayne outscored them 27-6 in the third quarter and 45-15 overall in the second half. And of course, in that game, Aiden Twist recorded his third 30-point game of the season. And I mean, Mid-Lakes has had a couple of those games this year where they've challenged some of these Finger Lakes East teams, but just haven't always come out with a win. So that just really caught me off guard.
Yeah, and we keep expecting Wayne to. Well, we know that overall Wayne's probably not quite as strong as they were last year with Blankenberg, but I think we underestimate them. Now that Blankenberg's gone, there's more shots to go around, and Aiden Twist has no problem pouring in, filling in for the scoring void that was left by Cam Blankenberg.
And to be fair to there, I mean, I remember last year we had a post-game interview with Aiden Twist. It's not like he just randomly popped up on the scene in that sense, right? Yeah. Like he's been a contributor on this Eagle team now for a couple of years, and but he's, I think, kind of transformed into that de facto leader on the floor for them this year, and has really kind of taken the reins and done a really great job with it.
All righty, let's take one more last look at that boys' results, and you see that Geneva also handled Mid Lakes, heading into Mid Lakes. Marcus Whitman with a tough week hosting World of Inquiry. And then, you see this Minders team losing at Newark only by 10. And then Waterloo also at Wayne, losing 58-39. And I should also point out Gananda with a nice win at Williamson. And Naples moving still undefeated with a blowout of HAC, a 56-point win. But, talking about Minders and Waterloo in the Finger Lakes East, these are two teams that we thought could compete at the top, and so far it just hasn't been the case. Now, you talk about Geneva, Newark, both Class A schools, along with Pelmac. So if you go down to Class B1, you got Mid Lakes currently at 3rd, Waterloo currently at 4th, and Minders at 6th. And you have Hornell and Leroy at 1 and 2, both with 6 losses combined. It's not out of the question that Minders or Waterloo or Mid Lakes could get in that sectional final game and win a sectional title this year. But it's just not happening on the court for any of those 3 programs, right now. Of the 3 of those teams, Kyle, who do you think has the best chance maybe to emerge as a contender in B1?
I still like Minders. I think they have the guys, the talent. They just haven't always put it together in back-to-back games or, consistently throughout a week. I think Waterloo, has a chance, but if I had to choose between those 3, I'm going to go Minders.
Yeah, it's always interesting in the Finger Lakes East specifically, tough league in the Class A, Class B split. So you got teams like Mid Lakes, Waterloo, Minders are out of the league chase right now, I would say, but maybe not mathematically, but certainly long odds to get back into that chase for the Finger Lakes East title. But sectional titles are what really matters, and all 3 of those teams are in the upper half of the bracket right now if it was to end today in Class B1. And so they're teams we're going to continue to keep a close eye on and see if they can improve. And really, the Finger Lakes East schedule, I think, prepares teams like this, for the postseason.
I mean, it's always one of the tougher leagues. I mean, I don't know, maybe naming it the toughest is fair this year, but you have your handful of A's, your handful of B's, and I don't know if there's a really better range of product than that happening, and all quality for the most part. Yeah, it's going to be tough. I mean, for the league stuff, like you said, Jim, to really kind of take a leap at this point. But yeah, I mean, sectional play is always a different story, right? I mean, we saw with Minders a couple of years ago that was the case.
There's a lot of sectional titles like that where they get into the postseason, they play a tough league schedule, they're in a lower classification than their league would indicate, and they win a sectional title. Sometimes they're B2. This year they're B1. Yeah. So honestly, I think B1's easier classification than B2 this year. B2 has Bishop Kearney, who's merged with Chesterton. Finney is in B2. Canisteo Greenwood's in B2, along with Williamson and East Rochester. But at Minders, you're looking at Hornell and Leroy, a couple of teams that certainly Minders is used to facing and not going to be intimidated by. Wayland, Cohocton, Dansville, early colleges in that class now. They're 3-6. Livonia's 1-9, which is kind of shocking in B1. But and speaking of classifications, we talk a lot about Lyons. Well, right now in C1, they're the number 2 seed. The number 1 seed is Gananda.
Yeah.
And then you want to talk about Class C2. because there's only 2 C classes this year, not 3 as has been the case in the past. And as far as Class D goes, we have nobody in the Wayne Finger Lakes because Romulus kids are playing with South Seneca. They're Class C2 as well. But Class C2, Honeoye, who, of course, love to talk about on this podcast, is a 4 seed currently. Guess who number 1 seed is?
Naples.
The Naples Big Green. And I can't wait till the power rankings come out this week because we might, I have no idea. I haven't seen the tabulated power rankings until we share them with you, but I'm excited to see that perhaps Naples gets in there for the first time in several years. So that'll be fun to watch. But first, let's take a look at the girls' week that was. And there you have it. Marcus Whitman with a nice win at Gananda to kick off the week. The Mid-Lakes girls beat Minders. Minders girls also having a tough go of it here. But a similar situation where hopefully they can get something together, make a run by sectional time. HAC with a loss at Avon was kind of disappointing there for the Wolves. Bloomfield girls head to Newark in one of the premier matchups of the year in the Finger Lakes East. Bloomfield being in the East this year, not the West. 52-49 win at Newark, and Newark just continues to play great. They're the number 1 seed currently in Class A girls. And Kyle, talk to me a little bit about that game, that Bloomfield Newark game.
Yeah, we talked about it on Monday last week where we thought this was going to be the game of the week, and sure enough, it was, and it came down to a buzzer beater. Newark actually had the ball with about 10 seconds left, and one of their juniors, Adriana Smith, who doesn't score a ton, banked in a 3 at the buzzer to keep them undefeated at 6-0 at the time, and that was her only points of the game. And Newark actually trailed by 8 at halftime, so they had a really good second half, and they're just a really good team that's well coached, that has most of their players that they've had the last few years, because a couple years ago they were really, really young.
Right.
They were actually one of the youngest teams, and now all these girls have grown up. They're more experienced.
Led by the Karina Natali, who's pretty much the leader of the team at point guard.
Yeah, really good team.
And interesting, mentioned Newark number 1 seed in Class A. Well, Bloomfield is the number 5 seed in Class C1. That's a huge gap. I mean, Bloomfield had a chance to really pick up some serious sectional points here against Newark, but it just goes to show that you got a C1 team away on the road in Newark, taking the number 1 seed in Class A down to the wire. It was a great performance by the Bloomfield girls, and the type of experience that'll probably help them moving forward.
For sure, but that's also a really good Bloomfield team anyway, as is. I mean, I talk about power rankings for me personally. I have them ranked at my 3 spot personally. So look, it's a tough loss either way, no matter the situation, the way you lose it. But I expect that to be another pretty key matchup when it gets to it in February for league stuff, and then obviously, like you mentioned, Jim, that'll probably be a pretty big spot potentially to pick up a couple late points if you're Bloomfield on the sectional side of things.
Yep, absolutely. All right, back to the schedule. See what else happened last week. Gananda and East Rochester renewed their rivalry. Gananda with an easy win. This Gananda girls team, pretty impressive. Dundee Bradford trying to get back on track here after having a great season last year. They got a nice win against Romulus. Lyons took it to North Rose Wolcott. Wayne and Mid-Lakes girls squared off. Mid-Lakes got the win there. Minders and Palmac faced off. Easy win for Palmac. And then Waterloo and Penn Yan, 29-28. Low scoring game, but Penn Yan gets the win. And the Penn Yan girls, currently the number 2 seed in B1, while Waterloo is the number 5 seed. That was a pretty big game. I'm going to ask you about that one too, Kyle, in a second. But first, just want to get through the week here. You saw Clyde Savannah get a nice win at East Rochester. You saw Lyons and Gananda face off, and Gananda girls with a big win at home against Lyons, where Lyons was the number 1 team in our power rankings a few weeks ago. So we're going to have to take a look at how this all shakes out on the girls' side of the power rankings. But also Newark girls and Minders met. Fairly easy win for the Reds there. Palmac turns around and beats Penn Yan after Penn Yan nipped Waterloo. And then Waterloo really handed it to Wayne. But let's go back to that Penn Yan Waterloo game, Kyle. Another game with some late game heroics.
Yeah, that was on the same night of the Bloomfield North game. This time we had another buzzer beater, and it was from sophomore Sophia Montano of Penn Yan. As you mentioned, it was a very low-scoring game, and that's what Penn Yan actually has done and for the last several years. They play in these low, weird-scoring games, but their defense is really good, and they just get enough contributions offensively to win. I mean, you look at the time when they picked up that win, they're 7-1, and I don't think we talk about them too much, but I definitely think we should probably talk about them more because for them to go beat Waterloo like that was impressive.
Yeah, I was a little stunning to see them hold Waterloo to such a low score. There's a lot of familiar names on that Waterloo team with state tournament experience. I do expect them to improve and be better and continue to contend for sectional titles and beyond with this particular iteration of this team. I mean, what's your take on it? You've seen a lot of Waterloo girls over the past few years, a lot of familiar names on this team, Bree, Panic. What's your thoughts?
Penn Yan just has Waterloo's number for whatever reason.
Yeah,
they beat him in they beat him in sectionals last year. Maybe it's just a matchup thing. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, Kyle's right though. More credit probably needs to be given to the Mustangs here at this point. I mean, 7-1 is nothing to exactly scoff at. That's kind of putting it mildly. So, yeah, I mean, I from the Waterloo side, maybe it's just a matchup thing. Who knows? I still expect them, and they are at the top of the league. They're near the top in sectionals as well and everything. And not to say it's ho-hum business as usual or anything like that, but I mean, you play the games for a reason, right? I mean, you never know what actually might happen. I don't think it's a big worry or a big deal. Just kind of one of those is what it is, and you go on and fight the next one. And Waterloo did that anyway last week. So.
And you look at Class B1 for the girls. Penn Yan currently number 2 seed in B1. You have Williamson Marion number 4 seed, Waterloo 5 seed. Mid Lakes 6 seed, and then down in B2, you have East Rochester as a 5 seed, Marcus Whitman currently the 2 seed, Minders the 8 seed. So a lot of positioning for the sectional seedings, and then those should both be pretty interesting tournaments. When the time arrives, which isn't too far away. But I'd say a month from now, we're going to be playing sectional basketball almost.
Give or take, yeah, the final games of the regular season. But yeah, those B brackets are always, to me, the most entertaining, right? It's always pretty tight contests, and the way it's shaping up, going to be the same thing again this year.
And usually Finger Lakes East-centric, where the C divisions are usually West and Wayne County-centric. And then, of course, we got our representatives from the Finger Lakes East in Class A that really have a tall task dealing with the East Highs and the Monroes of the world. But we've got some strong teams heading to sectionals in all classifications this year, so something to look forward to. But with that being said, I think it's time to unveil the power rankings and see how it all shakes out after a busy week of action in high school basketball.
There he goes.
Starting with the boys, Geneva, no surprise, number 1. Lyons, number 2, after beating Honeoye. Honeoye hangs in there at number 3 despite the loss to Lyons. Wayne, number 4. I think Anand is the biggest mover, continuing to impress now into the top 5 ahead of Newark. Palmac was kind of left for dead around Christmas time, but now they're 7th, and there they are, the Big Green Machine. The Naples, Big Green, make an appearance in the power rankings for the first time. I didn't go back and look historically, but I think it would have to be that 2015 season.
Wow.
I think it was 2015 where they went to the sectional finals in Bloomfield prior to the Bloomfield gym renovation, semifinals. And I think it might have been Wheatland Chile that beat them. They were there with Lions. They were in the same classification as Lions. That was the year Lions went to the state Final Four with Damon Hunter. And that Naples team was awesome, led by Noah Gorton, among other players. So Naples Big Green in the top 10. Kyle, what do you think? I mean, we got to start paying attention to Naples.
Yeah, they've been really impressive. I mean, 6-0 as we talked about. They're 3-0 in league play. They did play Honeoye, but they weren't able to finish the game. So we don't really know how they're going to go up against Honeoye yet. They will make that game up later this month, and of course,
Are they
we'll have another
starting
one in
it from the
February.
beginning?
I don't think so. I think they're going to resume in the third quarter.
It was close, right?
Yeah, it was really close, like 6 or 8 point difference. So yeah, I'm interested to still see some of their games coming up. You know, they have played 6, 3 have been non-league, 3 have been in league play. So I just feel like we need to see more, but they still deserve a lot of credit and deserve to be talked about.
Yeah, and some of the names that we see in the box score putting up some points. I don't think it's a fluke. I don't think it's like weak early season scheduling or anything like that. They're number 1 right now in Class C2. So, even if they don't continue at an undefeated clip, they're obviously going to be in the mix along with Honeoye. But also I see North Star Christian in Class C2, and, that's something that really, I mean, where are you going to put North Star Christian? You don't know. They're 9-1. If they were in Class B1, I don't think anybody would be surprised. But here they are down in C2, and it's somebody that Naples and Honeoye are now going to need to contend with. Sometimes they're in C1, sometimes they're in B2, as Minders found out, unfortunately, during the COVID year. Sometimes they're in C1, as Lyons has found out, unfortunately. I mean, it's the old private-public debate here, charter, with these placements of these programs like North Star Christian.
Yeah, it's look, I'm not going to act like I fully understand the metrics to fully do it. I mean,
I don't. It's arbitrary to me.
Yeah,
it seems.
it's I don't know. I hate saying it is what it is on that front, but I don't know. I always get confused because on the boys' side it's one thing, on the girls' side it's another. I don't know, but yeah, it's very strange to me how you have they're there, Finney's in B. It's I don't know. I don't get it. I'm not gonna pretend like I get it either. So it is I don't know. It is what it is. But I'd put Honeoye, I'd put Naples up against them and like my chances. So there's that.
All right. One last look at the boys' power rankings. Anybody, Waterloo sneaks in there at 10. Midlake's the only other team that was kind of in consideration there. Are we in agreement here, the three of us, with how this is racking up? Because I feel pretty good about it, top to bottom.
More or less. I mean, it's more or less. You look at it now. Probably the teams are going to mostly be seeing here on out. As I say, we're about at that halfway point. So I don't have any issues this week, really. It was a tough week. The teams towards the bottom of the top 10 have not done themselves, for the most part, many favors, so I don't have an issue with it.
How about you, Kyle? Anything in there you changed, or how is there anything that different than what your ballot looked like?
No, just one difference. I had East Rochester above Naples still because I think East Rochester is still really good. They played Honeoye really tough. They played Lyons really tough. So you look at the record, they're 4-3, and you think, it's not that good of a team. But I'm telling you, I think they are a really good team still.
All right. Awesome. Let's kick it over to the girls' side and look at the power rankings for the girls. And no surprise there, Newark number 1. I think that it is a bit surprising to see Waterloo at number 2. Remember, they just lost to Penn Yan 29-28.
Yeah, I mean, they also still had a winning week, though, overall.
Yeah.
So.
And then Bloomfield goes to Newark and loses by 3, and they're number 3. Marcus Whitman, I think we need to see them play some tougher competition to get a good feel for them. They're number 4. Lions girls were as high as number 1, but they've had some slip-ups certainly along the way, dropping down to 5. Gananda girls at 6, which, didn't they just beat Lions?
Yep.
Yeah, they're 6 and Lions is 5. That's kind of like sacrilege for our power rankings to see that happen. But and then Penn Yan, no love for that win against Waterloo, sitting there at 7. And Clyde Savannah trying to edge their way back up after a few tough losses. They've back on the winning track. HAC has some talent this year. I think we had him a few points higher last week, and then Williamson Marion having a good year. Palmyra, Masson, and East Rochester on the outside looking in, but getting some votes. I got a lot of thoughts on this in terms of, like I said, but I guess, I might have. Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well, I had Gananda above Lyons. I can tell you that much. Whitman I have above Gananda because Whitman beat him by 19.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't have any issues really towards the top. It's really tough. This is an issue I've been having on both boys and girls side, if I'm being totally honest. The bottom half it's been a rougher sled of it this year. It appears as if
it's fluid.
You're really good. If you aren't, you're, like you said, fluid's probably the better term to be using than what I kind of had thoughts of.
Well, if you're not, you have the time
Yeah.
to get good, to get better over the next month. I mean, that to me, after seeing so many seasons of high school basketball here at FingerLakes1.com, I've seen teams markedly improve from December until February, and then make runs and win sectional titles.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, there's still a lot to do, and I know Kyle has some thoughts as well on this, so I'll let him speak a little bit too on it, but it's just tough. Some of these teams, they just kind of keep winning, and so I'm not going to deduct you for winning,
right?
Essentially, right? Yeah. Like, I can't do that, so that's more or less my kind of thoughts on that side of things, and however it shakes out, just shakes out. I'm just one cog in the machine.
What's your thoughts on our girls' power rankings, Kyle?
Yeah, the problem is it was very difficult, and I think there's a lot of arguments probably for the girls because all these teams have beat each other in the last couple weeks. I mean, for example, I don't think we mentioned that Lyons also lost to Pelmac by 19, and then they just lost to Gananda by 6. Not really sure they deserve as much credit as they're getting, especially the last 2 weeks after their 4-0 start. And then Bloomfield, yes, they lost on a buzzer beater, but then they beat Midlakes by 24. Gananda beat ER by 18 and Lyons by 6. And then Marcus Whitman, they're a funny team too. They go and lose by, 25 to Lyons, but then they beat Gananda by 19.
Who just beat Lyons.
Then Penn Yan just lost to Pelmac by 24.
After getting that big win against Waterloo, yeah.
So this is why it's all so tough. And then I should add too, Clyde Savannah beat East Rochester by 5 recently. So that's why it's like if you're going to rank one team, it doesn't like above the other. It's hard because just the previous week they lost to one of those teams. So it's like you can't really win here.
Yeah,
I think
the only team on the girls' side that we can really say with confidence is ranked properly is Newark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Certainly they deserve to be number one. So anyways, we got another week of high school basketball here. We're firmly on our way into 2026, which means a full schedule. Let's see what we got coming up. On the boys' side, you got a full slate of games every night. I'm interested in that Clyde Savannah South Seneca game a little bit.
Falcons showing a little bit of some run here recently.
Yeah, and they got the Romulus, some kids from Romulus, I believe, this year as well. So that's an interesting crossover, Wayne and Finger Lakes West. And it doesn't end there with Wayne and Finger Lakes West because Honeoye is going to East Rochester. I know, Kyle, that you're probably interested in seeing how East Rochester hangs with Honeoye and how Honeoye can bounce back from their loss to Lyons. Let's see what else we got going on this week. Geneva at Minders, a chance for Minders maybe to pull an upset. Newark at Waterloo, chance for Waterloo boys. I mean, that's been a great rivalry the past several years. And then going down a little further, we've got Williamson at East Rochester should be a good one. Lyons at Red Creek is no gimme for the Lions, although heavily favored for sure. Marcus Whitman playing Rochester Academy Charter School. And then Mid-Lakes Pelmac, some interest there. South Seneca at Naples, so test for Naples down there in Vine Valley. Bloomfield at Naples, so some Finger Lakes West action on tap. Clyde Savannah at Williamson.
Waterloo Minders is an error, by the way.
Oh, where you see that?
The 16th. that game got pushed to December, so that was that December match.
Oh, yeah, they already played that, so they got to play at Waterloo again, but it won't be this week. Honeoye at South Seneca. Some of these Finger Lakes West matchups are intriguing, maybe more so than in the past few years when, Marcus Whitman kind of dominated for a while in the West, and it didn't matter who they played, they were going to get a win. Red Jacket was good a few years ago. It seems a little bit more balanced with Honeoye and Naples at the top, but it's all going to shake out, moving forward. And World of Inquiry at Lyons is certainly another test for the Lions to keep an eye on.
Yeah, looks like it's a World of Inquiry team that's been playing everybody pretty tough, to say it mildly. And I think it's a good spot for Lions again to kind of pick up a pretty good feather in the hat type win and kind of keep things rolling for them.
Yeah, what class is World of Inquiry?
Oh,
they're C1 with
they're
Lions.
C1.
They're both C1 right now. I got them at 7 seed at 4 and 5. So, interesting game there. How about girls? Geneva at Bloomfield, Waterloo at Churchill Chilai, CG Finney at Newark, Clyde Savannah at Gananda. That's a good one. In Wayne County is East Rochester. Red Creek is always a bit of a rivalry. What do we got? Honeoye at Romulus, Williamson Marion at Lyons. Geez, Lyons better not drop another one this week, right? Bloomfield at Minders, Mid Lakes at Pelmac, Waterloo at Newark, and Penn Yan at Wayne. Boy, the 14th of January has some nice Finger Lakes East girls matchups. Every game with some implications there. Dundee Bradford going to HAC the next night. ER in action against Northwest Wolcott. Gananda, Williamson Marion. There's a bit of a rivalry there, next door neighbors. Bloomfield at Penn Yan's a really good one. Geneva playing Williamson Marion. That's interesting. Lyons at Marcus Whitman, though. That's another a good one for sure. Good to see that one. And then Minders, Waterloo. Certainly a rivalry game there. Minders girls really could use a win somewhere this week and get on track as we head past the midway point this week of January. So, fellas, either boys or girls side, what games are you most looking forward to this week?
Well, for me, I'm going to kind of actually start on the girls' side here. Kind of missed one intriguing one in the West, HAC at Whitman on the 13th. That's tomorrow, Tuesday. So, intrigued there. But, yeah, that block essentially of that Finger Lakes East on the girls' side Wednesday nights going to be must-see TV, whatever you want to call it. Lyons and Whitman on the girls' side, that's going to be intriguing as well. That's a rematch from a sectional game last year. Keep an eye on that. But, boys' side, I had that South Seneca Naples game highlighted as well, Jim. So that's going to be really intriguing as well on Wednesday night to keep an eye on.
How about you, Kyle?
Yeah, for boys, I'm going to go with tonight's matchup, Honeoye at ER. Remember, again, they played back in December. Honeoye only won by 10. Landon Washburn had a season-low 21 points, so I'm interested to see how, they rebound from Saturday's loss and, a tough matchup the first time. And then World of Inquiry and Lions is going to be interesting, too. World of Inquiry actually has already played 2 Wayne Finger Lakes teams. They beat Minders by 28 and Marcus Whitman by 37. And then for the girls, I like Lyons at Marcus Whitman, but the problem is Lyons already played them. You forgot they beat them by 32 just in December.
It's true.
So I don't know if it's going to be that great of a matchup. Bloomfield at Penn Yan's interesting for me too. And I think that's probably my highlights. Waterloo at Newark, of course, Wednesday night. Forgot that one. So there's definitely several good games on both sides.
So, of course, we'll be able to check in every night and the following morning for full results here on FingerLakes1.com. Thanks to Kyle's reports. Great job, Kyle, too, with the buzzer beaters last week. So it's always nice to see that it was a close game and then actually watch the end of it right there on our nightly recap page. So definitely good stuff. We don't know where we're going next, or do we?
No idea.
Okay. We're going to have to pick something out soon here. I want to get a look at the Newark boys or girls. There's certainly, it'd be nice to get a look at Wayne again. I don't know when the next time Geneva and Newark meet, but that would be a good one too, for sure. So, anyways, and Gananda, it might be interesting to get a look at the Gananda boys as well, seeing that they're the number one team in Class C1 right now. So, any parting shots, fellas, before we get out of here?
Take your vitamin C, kids.
Yep, it's
we got
cold and flu season.
We got very lucky that, in a weird way, that Honeoye Lyons got postponed because of it. Stayed Friday night. The initial plan, I might have been done.
Oh, you were recovering.
I sound way better than I did last.
Well, I heard that's why they postponed it. They heard you weren't feeling well.
I doubt that, but I appreciate the sentiment.
Kyle, hopefully have you back here in studio next Monday.
Yeah, for sure. Two things I want to say, though. I want to give shout outs to a couple of people that reached 1,000 points last week. Gananda's Cooper Grossel and Lyons senior Cameron Bennell of the girls team. They both had their 1,000 points on back-to-back nights.
Yep.
So that was a big milestone.
I think we've had those are the second and third 1,000 pointers this season so far.
Yep. And last year it seemed like we had a ton, so
yeah.
I'm sure it'll pick up.
There'll be some more coming down the line, and maybe even a 2,000 point score coming out of Honeoye.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
So a lot to look forward to. Another great week ahead of high school basketball. Busy time of year for sports fans with NFL football, college football playoffs, all that stuff, college basketball, of course. But, if you're talking about midweek action, high school basketball here in the Wayne Finger Lakes. So thanks for joining us on the Upstate Hoops Podcast. Connect with us on Facebook. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Our audio-only podcast is available most everywhere you enjoy your audio content. You can also find our show, live stream games, and local news, weather, and sports 24/7 at FingerLakes1.com. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back next week on Monday afternoon. Until then, have a good one, everybody.